Give me the next 10 seconds, and I'll show you a money secret that flips everything you've been told. Because what I'm about to tell you will completely flip how you think about money. Most people believe making $100,000 is easier than making $1 million. But the truth is, it's actually the opposite. $100K is hard. $1 is easier. And once you understand why, you'll never look at your career, your business, or your bank account the same way again. Stay with me until the very end, because I promise the one shift I'll show you could be the reason you hit financial freedom faster than you ever thought possible. Here's the problem. Society wires us to think small. We're taught to chase 50K, then maybe 75K, then 100K a year. That's the safe path. But that path is also the most crowded, the most competitive, and the hardest way to actually build wealth. Why? Because everybody is doing it. Everyone is competing for the same jobs, the same promotions, the same salary increases. That's why making your first 100K feels like climbing Mount Everest. But once you cross into the world of creating value at scale, hitting $1 million doesn't just get easier, it becomes inevitable. Let me be honest with you. Making 100K usually means trading time for money. You're working 40 hours a week, maybe 50. You're capped by what your employer pays you or by how many clients you can personally handle. And that's why it feels so exhausting. You're working harder than ever, but the finish line never moves. That's the 100K trap. It's effort heavy, energy draining, and it keeps you stuck in survival mode. Now let's talk about the $1 million path. At one Millionaire, you're no longer trading hours for dollars. You're trading systems, skills, and scale for dollars. The difference? Instead of asking, how can I make 100K by working harder? You're asking, how can I set up something once and let it work for me over and over again? That could be a digital product, a business system, investments, or even leveraging other people's skills. Suddenly, you're not stuck in the time for money trap anymore. That's why people who crack the code to $1 million often say it feels easier than their first 100K. The first thing you need to shift is your mindset. Stop asking, how can I save my way to wealth? And start asking, how can I create my way to wealth? Because saving, budgeting, and cutting back only gets you so far. That's the 100K mindset. The $1 million mindset? It's about expansion. It's about building systems that grow whether you're working or not. If you can master that shift, you'll unlock the doorway most people never even see. Leverage is what makes $1 million possible, and there are 3 kinds of leverage you must understand. 1. Technology. Building something once that serves thousands. 2. People. Hiring or partnering so you're not the only one working. 3. Money. Using your capital to generate more capital. When you're stuck at 100K, you're relying only on yourself. When you aim for $1 million, you're learning how to let tools, teams, and capital work for you. That's why the $1 million game feels lighter, not heavier. Think of it like this. The 100K worker says, how many hours can I work this week to make more? The $1 million builder says, how many systems can I put in place this week to make more? The worker is chained to effort. The builder is free because effort multiplies through leverage. That's the difference between hustling harder and building smarter. Which side do you want to be on? Let me give you a real example. Someone working in a corporate job, maybe making 95Ks a year, will grind for decades to hit that 100K. Now compare that with someone who creates an online course once, or builds an app, or invests in a cash-flowing property. That one-time effort or investment could generate 10K, 50K, even 100K every year without trading more hours. That's why you hear stories of entrepreneurs and investors hitting $1 million While employees are still struggling for 100K raises, the models are completely different. So why don't most people go after $1? Fear. Fear of failure, fear of risk, fear of leaving the comfort of that steady paycheck. But here's the truth. That steady paycheck is often the riskiest thing you can depend on. One company decision, one layoff, one recession, and it's gone. The $1 path isn't about gambling. It's about building assets that give you control, not someone else. Once you see that clearly, the question becomes, do you really want to stay stuck fighting for 100K, or are you ready to build for $1? Here's what nobody talks about. Staying at 100K comes with hidden costs. Taxes eat more of it. Inflation erodes it. Your lifestyle expands just enough that you never really feel wealthy. And suddenly, you realize you're working harder, stressing more, and yet you're barely moving forward. That's because 100K was never designed to create freedom. It was designed to keep you comfortable enough not to question the system. When you cross into the $1 mindset, you start to see money differently. You stop asking, how much can I afford? And start asking, what can I build that pays for itself? Millionaires don't think in terms of saving $200 here or cutting $50 there. They think in terms of multiplying. They ask, if I invest 10K, how can it become 30K? This shift in perspective is why they keep pulling further ahead, while most people stay stuck juggling bills. Here's a practical tip. If you want to reach $1, stop focusing on $100 paychecks and start focusing on 10K opportunities. Ask yourself, what's the skill, the service, or the product I can provide that's worth 10K? Maybe it's a consulting package, a real estate deal, a marketing system, or an investment play. Once you figure out how to earn in 10K chunks, the math to $1 suddenly becomes simple. 110K wins checked $1 million. That's how millionaires think. Here's the mistake most people make. They hustle harder instead of building systems. Hustle might get you to 100K, but it won't take you to $1. Systems will. What's a system? It's a repeatable process that works without your constant effort. It could be a digital product funnel, a rental property manager, an automated ad campaign, or even a team running operations. With systems, money keeps flowing even when you're not grinding. That's how you scale. Listen carefully. No one hits $1 alone. Every millionaire you admire has a team, whether that's employees, partners, mentors, or investors. At 100K, you're doing everything yourself. At $1, you're learning to delegate, to trust, to collaborate. Wealth is a team sport. The sooner you build your team, even if it starts with one virtual assistant or one business partner, the sooner you unlock exponential growth. Here's where most people give up. They want results in months, not years. But building wealth is a long game. The 100K path keeps you sprinting on the treadmill. The $1 path? It's a marathon with checkpoints. At first, it feels slower because you're building foundations, systems, assets, teams. But once momentum kicks in, growth compounds so fast it shocks you. That's why patience isn't just a virtue in wealth building. It's the secret weapon. I'll be real with you. Your first million takes the most learning, the most risk, the most adjustment. But once you do it, the next million is 10 times easier. Why? Because now you have the blueprint. You understand leverage, you understand systems, and you have confidence. That's why the rich get richer. Not because they're smarter, but because they already know the path, while others are still struggling to break free from the 100K trap. Every day, I want you to ask yourself one question. Am I building something that only pays me once, or something that pays me forever? If it only pays you once, that's 100K energy. If it pays you forever, That's one netter energy. Simple example. Working overtime pays you once. Writing a book, creating a software, building a rental property portfolio, those pay you forever. One-time effort, lifetime return. That's the Millionaire's formula. So here's the choice in front of you. You can keep grinding, keep chasing that hard 100K, keep playing small in a crowded field. Or you can step into the mindset, the systems, and the leverage that makes $1 not only possible, but easier. Don't let fear keep you in survival mode. Build, create, leverage, play the $1,000,000 game. Because the truth is, 100K is hard, but $1, that's where freedom begins. Now, if this opened your eyes, don't just scroll away. Subscribe, share this with someone who needs it, and commit, right now, to building wealth the smarter way. Because your $1,000,000 future is waiting.